Hi everyone, welcome to episode
Hello.
3 of the Constructivist. This episode is mostly about our father and how he cared a lot about having us see the rest of the world and seeing our country. He has been to over 70 countries, right? Over
Something like that.
70 countries,
Over
all
70 for
50
sure.
states. I have also been to all 50 states. Listen, not so much.
I have
But our
three
dad.
left, and they all are very.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say like the unfun ones, but I'm not gonna
Hey!
say they're. I don't know. I need to make it to them. I'm actually very close to them in proximity. They're literally the states next to me. It will happen, Dad. You got it.
Mhm. When I was 21, I took a road trip with my little Chevy Spark. I think it was 2020 Chevy Spark. Manual, of course. And I know, so classy. And I hit the last of the 350 states. Our dad took us to 47 out of the 50, including Hawaii and Alaska, which were both on cruises that we'll talk about in a minute. But I remember dad wanted us to hit all 50 states. So when I turned 21, I decided I'm gonna fucking do this shit. And so I went in my little Chevy Spark. I did not do well in the snow at all in January in Montana and North and South Dakota and drove through them without stopping at a hotel once. I did stop at a rest stop twice, though, for 2-hour naps. And I got stuck in the snow a couple times and I got my first ticket for speeding in a Chevy Spark in Montana going down a giant mountain.
They're probably like,
So
so
whatever.
what you doing here? Like, what caused you to be here?
They were probably fucking wondering that. I was almost out of
Yeah,
gas too. I
yeah.
was like, I need to find a gas station because there's no fucking towns in Montana, apparently.
We didn't
And
have like
I
a
was in a hurry.
warning. Juliet swears a lot.
I can try to cut that out. I'm very myself today.
I'm burying myself today. Fuck.
Yeah, this is me, guys.
I mean, I'm feeling a little bit less myself, but
Why,
that doesn't mean much.
why you less yourself today?
Just like woke up and was in a haze, you know?
Hmm.
Just you get up and you're like, "Oh man, just a day."
I was in that
Sad.
state for a while before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I don't have
yeah.
eyebrows. That's why I'm wearing a hat, guys. I rip out my eyebrows when I'm
Don't admit
anxious.
that. Don't admit that.
I'll cut that out. Actually, my therapist told me it's very common.
It is very common, but I was like joking on the fact of don't admit that. You should absolutely admit that to make people realize it is more common.
It's super common. It is like, I told her, and she was like, "Oh, girl, if you're anxious, that's the first thing people do is they try to control something, and your face, especially, I get a lot of headaches. So I feel like I don't have a lot of control over my head because it hurts all the time. And so I'll just what's the word I'm looking for?
Redirect.
Redirect that pain into something I can control.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Very common. Don't worry if you do
It
it
is
too.
very common.
Or yeah. Mhm.
I also bite my fingernails.
Also very, very, very common.
I also bite the skin, which is not as common, and they gave
Not
me a fancy disorder name for that.
you don't remember what it is?
Needless to say, we both have anxiety,
Mhm.
and loss takes you in a lot of places that you didn't think it would. So we've both been doing these things for years and years and years, and I wouldn't be surprised if we were actually able to beat these things because we had someone to prove, Dad, that we can get over them and we can overcome these. And yeah, so we can get started on this if you want to tell your first story.
A little bit of a detour. I gave my first story. It was 47 out of 50 states. I just swooped right in there. You didn't even see
Oh,
it.
you just took number 3. I thought you were just going to start with number 1, brother.
I take it wherever it takes me, wherever the conversation goes.
Wow, unbelievable, unstructured. Can't believe that that was you instead of me. Okay, that makes
I
me want to start
know.
at like number 4, you know what I mean?
I mean, go for it. But yeah, I'm working on it.
No, no,
I'm
no, no.
unstructured.
Truthfully, this trip that I'm about to bring up wasn't what I would consider my top favorite trips, just because there were a couple of like little tiny blips in the way, but it was my last trip seeing Dad. And he flew me out to California in January of 24. And it was a really good time. It was a really good time, but it was very mild. The reason I'm saying it wasn't like one of the best trips is because it was chill. It was like lots of bondy time, which was amazing. Lots of like went to the casino with Janice, met some lady that said she was Frenchie from Greece. That was insane. She won me probably $80 on a little whatever. Um, but what was really awesome about it was he actually talked to me about the Constructivist book. He had just started on it. And he read me his first and second passage that he had written for it. So more so sentimental value versus like crazy dad trip, because there are a lot of them. So I would also like to say we talked a lot about his family dynamic in this point of time because he had a lot of family dynamic and he opened up a lot about his abusive father and the things that he would say, the things that he would do just to destroy dad and like totally crush his soul. And there were many times, and in the book in Constructivist, it says this too. He says, sometimes you've forgiven, but you slip out of that forgiven for a little bit. You know, like that forgiveness needs to re-come back and remind you because you are feeling this way because of this person. So when you go back into those feelings of feeling a certain way, you can't help but to be a little bit irritated with the person that caused it. So his dad caused a lot of his insecurities, which caused a lot of other spiraling shit in his life. And talking to him about that and him saying 50 times in a row, hey, it's actually not his fault that I made those decisions. These were my decisions that I made. I'm taking full responsibility for that. Was just like a revolution for this man because he always said stuff like that, but he never talked about his dad. So the blame was always on him, but to see him actually go from it is me, but I'm like this because of this was really incredible. And that's why it's one of my favorite trips with Steve Carr.
Oh, I love that.
It was great.
I'm
It was really nice.
I'm trying to find the passage that he wrote about travel. It was like, where do you want to wake up tomorrow? But I can't find it.
Mm. So you've been doing something else while multitaskingly listening to me?
I have been listening to you as well. Yes, your trip
It's a
sounds
trait that I did
lovely.
not get. I'm impressed with that trait. Yeah.
Yeah, multitasking it is a lifesaver. Where do you want to wake up tomorrow morning? I found it. Okay. Can we throw in a little bit of the constructivist in the middle of this? That makes sense because this is the constructivist podcast. All right. So we mentioned earlier that travel was really important to our dad. Also, just being able to experience the entire world instead of being cooped up in your little fraction of the universe, basically. So that's why he took us traveling a lot as kids. I said 47 states. Those other than the Hawaii and Alaska cruises, those were all road trips. So we were driving across the country and it was amazing. And we would listen to Phantom of the Opera, and we would listen to Wicked before it was a movie, and it was wonderful, and we would sing along, and our dad was an amazing singer. But my point is, he loved to travel, and this is his little passage on travel. Okay. For 2 decades, I have experienced the luxury of determining the answer to this question, the question being, where do you want to wake up tomorrow morning? Until 2003, it never crossed my mind that I even had a choice. And for me, it happened by chance. Other than, in my opinion, when you have too many coincidences, maybe it's more like providence. In May of 2003, I had a series of unexpected and life shocking, altering experiences, creating the perfect storm that would unexpectedly change my life's course for the better. In fact, the best. It's a beautiful and amazing thing when what you believe would be the worst life experience, we know exactly what he's talking about, turns out to be your unimaginably best life experience. In less than a month, my younger children had moved away from me, and I found myself living in a hotel suite and eventually manager's apartment. I loved it from day one. A friend of mine was the manager of a mainstream hotel in the area who invited me to stay as long as I wanted for a $35 a night rate, which included tax, breakfast, gym, daily paper, large corner room suite, Wi-Fi, TV, utilities, washer, dryer, swimming pool, etc. I also joined the brand's rewards program, where every day I earned points toward free night stays. I then began using these free night stays as I traveled throughout the world. And he really did. And when I didn't stay a night, my friend didn't charge me for that night, even though he allowed me to keep my stuff there. And he had a lot of stuff, a lot of drawings from us, in fact.
Yes, a lot of valuable stuff.
A lot
Millions
of
of dollars in
valuable
that house
stuff.
of children's drawings.
Yes. And that lasted for over 4 years and was mind blowing to say the least. The apartment, which was the manager's suite, was over 1,100 square feet and had a full kitchen, bedroom, bathroom with a nice tub, a spacious living room, and a nice dining area. All of his utilities, including the pool, jacuzzi, daily paper, were all free, with other nights stayed. Like if he went somewhere else and then he paid there, he could use those points for his actual apartment or his main living space.
Yeah.
And they were all his for less than $12.50 a month, regardless of where he stayed. And he must confess he loved it. When he first moved there, he had fully paid off minivan. I remember that shit. But eventually rented cars from Enterprise when they had the $9.99 day, 3-day weekend rates, where they eventually just told me to keep the car for as long as I wanted, which turned out to be over 3 years at that $10 rate. I quickly found
Turned out
out
to be
one.
over 3 years.
I know. Keep it as long as you want. 3 years later. All
Yeah.
right. I'll pay my tab now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
I quickly found out one could not afford to own a car for just $10 a day without having to worry about registration, miles, maintenance, etc. I just blew out 2 of my tires, so I know what he's talking about. Especially with the miles I was putting on the road, and he put a lot of miles
A
on that
lot of
car.
miles.
I utilized my free night stays by taking road trips across the US, Canada, and Mexico. By the time my youngest 3 children were in their preteens, they had been in 47 of our 50 states thanks to those trips. It was also during this time I bought my first timeshare, which I also loved for about a dozen years and firmly believe if it's done properly with the right opportunity. But that's a whole other story that unfortunately he didn't get to get into much.
Yeah.
If you are like most folks, you don't believe you can choose to wake up where you want tomorrow, but you can, and much more inexpensively than you might think. So, where do you want to wake up tomorrow morning? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. This is their dad, very much so. I
And
even have some ideas where the night before you are in one amazing city, and when you wake up the next morning, you are in another with a hot breakfast nearby, just waiting for you to choose from over 100 items. I just might even see you there, and I would love if I did. Again, this was our dad mostly writing to us and other family members.
A lot of this culture right now, well, first of all, I would like to jump back to earlier in the passage
Mhm.
where he does talk about how important traveling is. For us, I think it was really about the culture
Yes.
because now we're adapted to having conversations with so many people from different backgrounds that it's like, yeah, I don't understand you, but I've seen that shit. I know that, I might not have the empathy, but I have the sympathy of knowing that, like, my heart goes out to you. My heart absolutely goes out to you. And I wouldn't be like that if I grew up in, a small city my whole life. And that's not everybody. That's just me. I'm sure you can put the pieces together, but myself, I learned so much from that. So much from that, like the culture and every little bit actually makes up us. So we might have seen something that happened while we were in Cancun where we're like, that is super cool. Like, we should have more fresh ingredients or whatever the case is. And it just kind of adapts into our life. And he can say he traveled the way that he did, and he can say that this is possible because guys, like, he really did this. And
Mhm.
he wanted to show everybody how to do this because it brought him so much joy. And we live in a society where a lot of people don't want to be out of their comfort zone. And Steve Carr was just like, here's your comfort zone. Here's, the rest of the world. And Steve Carr was just like hammering you into it. He's just like, no hesitation. Like, life is short. He would say life is short. And what he was talking about where his life was shattered in 2003 was him and our mother separated. That's just the way that it was. It was really devastating for him. It was a really devastating event for him. So he kind of realigned his whole life to be exactly like he said, the perfect life for him.
Mhm. He ended up using a failed relationship, as an opportunity for a new lifestyle. Bringing it
Mm-hmm.
back, episode 2.
So
Oh,
do.
hell yeah.
I do believe it's my turn, or is it your turn?
It's my turn. And you did
Okay.
give me a little segue into Puerto Rico and my trip, my 21st birthday trip with my dad. His birthday was January 10th, mine was January 27th. So when I was about to turn 21, I think it was in between our birthdays. Oh, wait, no, it was part of his birthday because that was the first stop. Okay, so we left January 10th, apparently. And I only know this
Nice.
because we stayed over by the Everglades. I don't remember the name of the city, but they gave him a free cake and bottle of wine for
For his
his
birthday.
birthday, which is how I remember. It was very nice. He was very excited about it. From there, we left super early in the morning to Puerto Rico, which was my segue from you mentioning different areas of the world, how you might be a little ignorant unless you actually go there and speak with the locals and really understand their culture and their struggles. I didn't realize how, I don't want to say messed up it is. I'm not going to get into politics, but to
Very broad
basically
Trump.
be treated as a state without any of the rights is how a lot of the citizens of Puerto Rico feel. And I can understand why they'd feel that. They want the recognition and they're not getting it. And even though they don't have it, they're basically treated like another state. They just don't have anyone in Congress. They don't have anyone in the House of Representatives. They don't have any of the funding from the government that they would otherwise get if they were considered a state. And
If
so
they
I
were,
really felt
yeah,
for them.
totally.
Yeah, and I didn't know any of that until I went there and actually spoke to them. So yeah, all of their when we were there, we rented a car. Their street lights did not work. It was chaos.
Mm, it's
It was
very
bad.
sad.
I'm
Perfect.
continuing on. Don't worry about what that huge blip was. Uh,
Beep, 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 beep.
from there, we went to the Cayman Islands. I didn't realize it was more than one island, so I booked our Airbnb on the wrong island. And my dad had to save my ass by getting us a hotel on the beach. That was really lovely, actually.
Hmm.
The Airbnb would have been really lovely if we could get to it, but unfortunately, all of the little charter boats that went out there were done for the night by the time we arrived. So yeah, Paps had to swoop in and save the day on that one. And on the pillowcases, I had my first rum cake. They had little rum cakes on the pillowcases instead of
Yeah,
chocolates. And it was really good. It was delicious. I like rum cakes now. We
yeah.
also explored some caves when we were there. That was really cool. Cayman Island Caves. You
That
should
does
check it
sound
out if
really
you're
cool.
there.
I wasn't
Yeah.
there, but sounds very cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. I got some pictures. Maybe I'll throw them up on this
Boop,
video or
boop, boop,
something.
boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, yeah. And then the last
Peaches.
place we went, actually, it wasn't the last place. This is out of order. But we went to Jamaica, and I got us a motel-like Airbnb that was blasting music down the street all night, every night that we were there. If I can find the music, I'm gonna put it in this, but it was like obnoxious, okay? It was like loud ass music, and then all of a sudden it would go, it's the police! Just keep going. I was like, oh my God. The first like two times I was like, oh my God, are there police next door? Like trying to raid
Are
this
there
place.
police next door?
Yeah.
Oh,
And then it like kept happening. And I was like, no, it's not. It's just stop. It
Jamaica. Hmm,
I know. I mean it was an interesting neighborhood, but I really liked it. I
I bet.
don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. And then dad, he was like I think I mentioned in an earlier podcast, I wasn't very independent up until like
16?
16 was when it started, and then it was like a slow progression. But dad hadn't really seen all of that progression yet. So he was still like the whole point of this trip was more togetherness. After I was an adult, I kind of went off on my own little way. And so he wanted to encourage me to travel again, of course. And this is kind of what you were talking about. This is your comfort zone. So he was like, let's go have a free trip. Come on, we can go explore, see all this stuff. And I was like, okay. And
Yeah,
so then
yeah,
we
yeah.
really got close. And he was like, hey, I know you're really uncomfortable with talking to people because I'm a little awkward person. And he was like, can you go and get us breakfast? And I was like, hell yeah, I can get us breakfast, Dad. You don't know who you're talking to these days. So I just walked on out, got us breakfast, came back. Some guy was like, hey, you want to smoke with us? I was like, no, it's not my scene, man. He was like, you sure? I was like, what is that? And he was like, oh, and he said, whatever the name of it was. Oh, no, man, I'm good. Kept going. Usually in the past, I would have been like, someone's talking to me. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do with myself. But
Yeah,
yeah, I was a completely different person, and he was really proud of that to see that change. And
nice.
I was proud to show it off because, like I said, I was a little nervous wreck as a kid. And although I may have anxiety now, it doesn't go away completely, but you learn to manage it. And I've learned to manage it pretty well, I think. Of course,
Hide
with
it for
the
sure. You hide it
yeah,
really
I
well.
hide it really well. But I'm in law school, right? Time I'm in law school. I give
I know
speeches
how
and
to
shit
lie.
now.
I know
Lawyers,
how to
baby.
loophole
Just
feelings and make
kidding.
people feel
Yeah.
like they're the problem. Just kidding, just kidding.
Yeah.
Um,
Two other cool things about this trip, real quick, just because I'm
yeah.
gonna post pictures. We went on a boat. I don't have any good pictures of this one. It was like a boat, and it was in the middle of the water where it's like when you touch the water, it lights up because of the algae. And it was really cool, but I couldn't get any good photos, so I don't have any photos
Hmm.
on that one. But then we also went to this really cool river with like waterfalls, and that was really fun with my dad. We had a lot of good pictures there. He
Nice.
went through it. He climbed up the fucking waterfalls and then
I
he stood
bet he
under it
did,
like
brother.
this. And I was like, picture, picture, picture. So I'm gonna post those.
I don't know if I've seen that one.
You probably not because I was a little far away, but I'll try to zoom in.
Okay. Okay. No, I just don't remember seeing like the picture at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I usually don't. I mean, I know it's on Facebook, but you weren't on Facebook for a while.
Oh, that's right.
And it was
That's right.
posted
Okay.
like right after it happened. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
long time ago.
My next travel story is a pretty simple one. It's all the Dells trips. And guys, when I say there were a lot of going to Minnesota, Wisconsin Dells, we went to Wisconsin Dells probably like at least once a month for years because there was a Wyndham in that time frame that he was talking about
Mhm.
that we went to all of these really nice places, but it was close. He would bring like all of our friends with us. He'd be like,
Mhm.
"You want to bring a couple friends? All right, let's go." Like, I'll talk to their moms, make sure moms. Mine was my specific friend's mom. I'll talk to their parents, see if they're able to come with us, see if it's possible. And you would just like bang, make it happen. And it would be very
Yep.
often. And we had Christmas there a couple times, couple family reunions. Um, Wisconsin Dells holds a very special place in my heart.
Mine as well. The name of the Wyndham was Glacier Lodge, and it was beautiful. It had like these huge suites that were like 4 rooms, like 4 bedrooms, four
Yes.
bathrooms, two like master suites on either side, a giant kitchen, a giant sitting area. It was beautiful. And with that, it was his timeshare that he was talking about. They
Yeah.
don't have that kind of deal anymore, but
Uh-uh.
it was a steal, really.
Yeah.
And with that, we had the free water park passes, and there
Free
were
water
like
park
four
passes.
different water parks in that other hotel, which wasn't as nice of a hotel, but they did have the water parks.
Mm-hmm. It was very
Do you
cool.
remember what
And
it was?
also arcades and stuff.
Oh yeah, arcades. We were all about that shit.
All about it.
Reminds me of skiing. What was that? Chestnut Mountain. We had the arcade. I want so many bouncy balls. It was one of the ones we had to
You
like
did. You
maze it
did.
up.
Yeah, yeah, you
So many
did.
bouncy balls.
All right, what you
Mhm.
got? What you got?
Okay, I'll just do the Alaska real quick. No, if I do Alaska, I have to do the cruises. So I'm gonna do the cruises first, and then I'll tell my little Alaska story. So we went on several cruises with our dad, Alaska, Hawaii, and
I know
Bahamas,
I'm
and most
super lucky.
recently we went. So it was a couple different places. It was, you remember? No, it was
Well, we went to
Mexico and
Roatan.
Roatan. It was several different places. It was pretty cool. I had my son with me, and I was glad I got to do that with him before our dad passed away.
Definitely.
But when we would go on these cruises, our dad would put us in like these little daycare places where it was kind of like a learning fun center with kids your same age group, kind of. And we would
Don't do
just
that
sneak
shit
out of
to your
that shit.
kids, guys. Don't do that shit to your kids.
Don't do it, because you know what? It's really bad security. We snuck out every time. It was
Always.
boring. Like they would turn around and we just like walk out. We'd be like,
Yeah, you just
okay,
walk out.
bye.
And then you'd be like you especially walked out. I'd stay a little bit because I was a little bit younger than you. So I would
Yeah.
a little contest here or there. I would usually like make a friend that ended up
Mhm.
drowning me at some point. But,
Oh, yep. Mhm.
usually another story for another time. But, it's like you just left. And then we'd be wandering around everywhere like,
Hitting up that
I'm
buffet.
six, I'm six, I'm six.
Uh,
Like, who wants to chill?
ice
So
cream
that,
cones. We got so many ice cream cones.
oh, infinite because they are infinite.
Mm-hmm. And then like sometimes we go back around the time our dad was gonna come pick us up, and other times we just meet
Yeah.
him in the room and he'd be like, how do you guys get here? And we're like, oh, we just told him we were gonna Went back to the room.
We just left.
We'd
We'd be like, all right,
He's
well, I'm
like,
about to finish a phone
okay.
call. Like, we'll go to the buffet after.
Exactly. Because he was still working when we were going on these trips.
Yes.
Like he still had to work. He couldn't just
Yeah.
take off. So his way of spending the time with us without stopping working was basically finding a way to mingle the two.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, if you're a single parent or a
Hard,
divorced parent,
hard.
very, very hard. Lots of kudos to you. Highly suggest that you try to find that balance because it was really nice. Like anything from home, obviously you guys know this if you are parents, but yeah, it was really nice for us because there were times like when he wasn't doing that at first where I don't know exactly what he was doing, but I think it was more he had to be, or maybe he was just working a lot more. And I was like, Dad, where are you? Like, I don't understand that you got to make like a bunch of money for like me to live. What do you mean? So I get it. Um, it was a very healthy balance the way that he did it. It was
Yeah,
done
it,
very
it took
well.
him a while to figure it out, like you were saying, but he did eventually figure it out and it made a huge difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't worry if you're not there yet and you are going through something similar. Just do the best you can and your kids will understand. And when you do find that balance, they're going to notice and they're going to appreciate it.
Yeah. They absolutely will. Um,
Also, Hawaii, we saw a volcano erupt from the cruise ship. It was awesome.
I remember that like so vividly. It
So
was
cool.
so crazy. It was so crazy. This is like excluding all of the trips that we went to like Chicago dozens of times, that we went to like I mean, we went to California a bunch of times too. Um, Speaking of my favorite of all trip with Dad, and I think it was just because, and I'm a little selfish. I'm a little selfish. It was just me that went. It was all Alyssa all day, Alyssa and Dad, and wonderful Janice. It was the first time I met Janice. I was 17 years old. It was in the summer of 2016. I went over and I flew to California. I was so at ease this whole trip. Like, I should have been terrified because I was going into my senior year, which after your senior year in high school, like you got a lot of stuff to do because you got to find a college, you got to decide what you want to do with the rest of your life while keeping a social life, while doing all of your homework and all of these things and signing up for scholarships. Like it's insane. So I was stressed out before I left, but as soon as I got there, I was just like, yes, so chill, very relaxed. And I remember sitting on a balcony and I having a conversation with my dad, which was, of course, probably, I don't remember, but I remember feeling positively about it. So it was probably him saying something like, you'll figure it out. Don't be too hard on yourself. Like, if you want to have a conversation about it, great. If you want to have just a vacation, great. And on that trip, or on that balcony, we were having garlic stuffed olives and Tillamook extra sharp white cheddar cheese, y'all. Best cheese there is. I will do a podcast full of cheese, and it will still be the one that is winning.
A cheese
So
ranking podcast.
it needs to be a thing.
I mean, on the bottom is craft singles. So you guys need to stop eating that shit.
I'm gonna
Don't
disagree with
fight me on
you.
this. Don't fight me on this.
There's worse cheese than Kraft singles.
Okay, but you gotta admit they're pretty trash.
They're very trash.
Unless they're on a grilled cheese.
Or like, have you ever had the ones where they come and they're not in? There's like Kraft singles and there's Kraft singles where they're not packaged separately.
Uh,
Those are a lot better.
I have not tried those.
You will have to take my word for it or buy them, but they're like $7. So, on this trip, after I discovered this cheese, he would then buy the cheese and meet me at places to give me the cheese. Because we didn't have it here in Duluth, Minnesota. We still do not. So if I am wrong and someone knows where the fuck this cheese is, it's Tillamook extra sharp white cheddar cheese. I will send you my address. I will give you my Venmo. We will figure it out together, okay? It so good. Anyway, we went to the beach. And I just remember thinking my whole life is ahead of me. You know, I had such great memories up until then. I had such great memories to look forward to. Unfortunately for me, it was right before I ended up being in a really abusive relationship. So I lost a lot of the memories in between. And like in between being 18 and being like in my early 20s. So that's too bad. I don't have a lot of memories with my dad from those times, even though I did see him. I also got to meet Janice on that trip, which was amazing. She's so cool. She's still great. And we stayed at like a family friend's house. Where actually it wasn't a family friend. They became family friends with them. Not family. They became friends with them because they were going to this Airbnb so much. So we were at this Airbnb the first time they had ever been there. And my dad and I, we went to the pool and we were like, hey, we're at an Airbnb. Like, what is the pool key? And the pool guy was like, actually, you're not supposed to be here. We have it explicitly in our contract that you cannot Airbnb your own condo. And he's like very stoic about it. And he's like, well, thank you for your time and have a good day. And he walks away and the guy's like, actually, I need to know like which place you're staying at so I can talk to them. He's like, I'm not going to do that and do not follow me and have a good day. We walk out super fast and he's just like, oh, the audacity. I'm like, yes, that was the problem. That was the problem. So yeah, that was my first trip. That was such a nice trip. They seemed to work so well together.
Mm-hmm. They definitely did for a long time.
Yeah.
All right, my last one is just when we were in Alaska. We did the cruise there and we got off at one point and we went on a seaplane, which was super cool. One of the main photos on our pages is us standing with our dad in front of that seaplane, even though you can only really see part of it because of the way the photo was taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Photographers error. But just kidding. But while we were on the seaplane, we like landed at one point because the pilot and our dad saw a bear. Was it a brown bear or a black bear?
It was a black bear.
It was a black bear. And they just like fucking up as close as they could get. I was like, get me out of this. I don't want to be eaten by a bear. And then
And Dad was like,
so they took off.
look at that beautiful bear.
Exactly.
Oh
Like,
my
they
God.
swam. What are you doing? I was terrified. But it was really cool looking back on it, especially now that I'm not quite as
Knocked her ass down though. Like one small
What?
thing would have taken that whole plane down.
Oh yeah, it was a
It
tiny
was
ass plane.
massive. It was absolutely
Huge ass
massive.
bear. Huge ass bear.
Yes. Like what's that? No, that's a grizzly bear, the one that I'm thinking of. Black bears aren't usually as mean.
You say so. The thing was huge.
It wasn't mean
looking at
though.
us.
I didn't care about
It was
that.
looking at us. It was trying to decide. It was like, you guys are getting a little closer.
Grumble.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh,
That
no.
one with the glasses that looks terrified looks delicious.
Exactly.
gotta get through 3 people to get to her, but I'll make it happen. Such a malicious black bear. My last trip it's many trips. It's just we went to our aunts and uncles' places a lot, and they were super awesome. Like specifically, one of our uncles has like it burned down, unfortunately. It was a really, really beautiful like cabin summer house. Gorgeous, a lot of really good memories. We got to see our brother Andrew there. That was awesome. I do believe that's where he mooned us.
Yep.
And I do remember that being like, this is a pivotal moment in my life. Like, I'm learning at this moment that you can just fucking do that. Like, you have the right to just go up to any car window and just do that. And it doesn't matter who it is, family, non-family, nobody you know at all. Like,
with the risk of getting arrested, but it's a risk you're willing to take if this is something you want to do.
you know what? You can do it. That was what I learned.
He did it, and then he ran around the car, jumped in. He's like, "Did you see that guy?"
Like, you are the only person with the butt that can fit in my 2 hands in this entire state. Yeah, like literally. Oh, Andrew's running up here. Oh, why is he running right next to my window? Pressed. Ass to glass, baby, ass to glass. So that was awesome. He really made a great impression. We also went to our Aunt Beth's house. She had a lot of really cool stuff. So it was like family lived around at different parts of the country. We would travel to different parts of the country, but we'd also be seeing family and like making sure we got that quality time. It was really awesome. Traveling as a kid was so much fun, truthfully. I got out of it a little bit because I wanted to one, I wanted to be around my friends all the time. And two, after like during that relationship that was not good for me, it was really hard for me to want to put myself, let alone this person, into the eyes of my family. Which, if you've been through anything similar, which I hope you haven't, you probably do understand. But now I like travel again, and I'm just thinking, not too long here, I will be making my way around it. Plan to travel a lot more as the years come.
Yep, for our dad's celebration of life tour starting next weekend.
Next weekend.
Whoa.
Week from today, yo.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
You got the 8th. I'm
well, it's technically for me too, because I'm giving my little what did they call it? Tribute to dad. Tribute. With the army. Yeah. Week from today.
That's very cool. Yeah. You got anything else you want to say?
When are we gonna bring up the toy drive?
Now's a good starting point.
All right, we already opened it up. So we're doing what we are gonna be considering the hashtag North Star Drive. It is a toy drive for children in shelters. What we want you to do is get a toy, maybe put it in like a plastic bag or something that a kid could open, but also see through so that the shelter people will let the kid open it. Otherwise, they're gonna have to open it, see what's in it, and then.
And that's like the majority of the fun for kids.
Exactly. So like those little treat bags, I'll put a picture of what I'm doing. Like little treat bags with little toys in it. That'd be good. And then they can open it up and be like, I have this and this and this, and I just hit my hat. Yeah. And it's great. Yeah. And then so you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna put hashtag North Star Drive. I'll have it up here somewhere. And then you're looking at me like You're looking at me.
I'm looking at you like, yeah, I'm thinking about what I'm gonna
You're
get this
looking
kids
at me
right
like-
now in this moment.
Came up with the hashtag.
I would like a comment on whether or not I do that. I would like someone watching to comment and look if I look like a judgy bitch when she's talking. Because I've wondered if I do.
You do. You look, and you're like, when is she gonna stop talking? And then I stop talking, and you're still just like, I haven't finished judging you in my head.
I'm very
yet.
friendly, I swear.
Swerves.
No,
But
I
anyway.
am friendly though. I'm like, I'm not judging you at all. I'm in like mesmeration. Like, wow, she's already done this. I'm low on my game. I need to get.
I was worried
Get
doing
you-
like North
get you-
Star Drive, but I thought it was super cute because it's like a road, but it's also North Star for Dad, and it's a toy drive. So smart.
North Star Drive is a road?
No, it's like something drive, like it's the name of
Oh!
the road normally.
Yes.
I'm not as smart as I thought.
No, it's definitely as smart as you thought. I'm still in my haze, girl. I'm still in my haze. You be feeling like yourself. I've been in my haze.
Yeah, this is me. Got some coffee. Got some cookies. I'm gonna have another one in a second.
I don't live close enough to you for you to give me either of those.
That's too bad for you.
I know. And
My boys
I
make
was
free.
gonna walk 500 miles.
More than that, man. More than that. Oh shit! What did I do? What did I do? There's. Yeah, I got. We only had cookie cutters for Halloween cookies.
Oh, for sure. All right, I'm gonna hang up on you.
Okay. I hung up first.
Why am I muted?
You're not muted.
Because your microphone is muted.
Yours is?
Yeah.
I can hear you, so I don't know why it's telling you that. Now you're muted. Now you're muted. Now you're not.
Whatever. Okay. All right. All right.
It's backwards.
In this and the. Am I close enough to this?
Yeah, you look good. You look fine.
You look
Check
fine.
it out.
Yeah, you look good. You look fine. Those are
We
cute.
got little bats and ghosts.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
so
that's
good.
cute.
Yeah. I also tried to cut out some little circles for ornaments.
Girl, yeah, you did. Yes, you did. Of course. Okay,
They were fucking
let's
done with it by
see.
then, though.
I
I
bet
had
they
to decorate
were.
that. I know.
Okay, how do I make it? I remember I did this once where I was able to make this into multiple. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Is your dad now?
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Now I just need to get to the. All right. Yeah, I'm ready whenever you is.
Did you add to the other one?
I did,
When I
man.
did? Oh, I'm in the wrong one. This one now.
I added my own story, sir.
Oh, okay.
So, what,
I
you wanna
remember
alternate?
Janice 2016. Huh?
Mm-hmm. You want to alternate or what?
Andrew, at least one term. It's not a travel story, but you know what we should tell? The pizza, man. The fucking pizza.
That had nothing to do with Dad.
It had nothing to do with that, except it was the first time I met Andrew.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. They went to go eat with Andrew or something, and then they came back. And that's when we met him.
And we're like,
Uh-huh.
we are famishly hungry.
We're like, where the fuck is our food? We've been sitting here waiting for a pizza delivery guy for the last 3 hours.
With this shitty ass kid, nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Fucking Nutter Butter, wasn't that? Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh,
You have a
Nutter
Nutter Butter.
Butters.
This was not Dad. This was Chad. Our sister's husband.
Are they gonna see this?
Probably, I don't know. This is how lazy I get. Hold on.
I figured we would start when we're like done eating. I don't know, dude.
I'm at work. I don't know how many cookies I'm gonna have though.
I mean, I have a lot of this left, but I'm gonna stop after a little bit because it's really filling.
Yeah.
It's got my fiber in it.
I'm still so pissed. I was like, it's between the cat ears. That's what Dad always said.
Oh my god.
She's like,
I knew what you were talking about.
You did? You should have said something.
No,
She was
I
like,
knew what you were talking about. I just
tired,
didn't know if
honey.
that was not.
It was her cabin.
Dude, ask Jessica. She'd remember that shit.
The cabin without the toilet. Her first cabin.
That's good. Like my new Carhartt?
What?
My new Carhartt?
I don't know what word you're saying, hun.
Carhartt?
What the fuck is a Carhartt? Please, Father, forgive her for she has sinned. Motherfucker. What the fuck is a Carhartt?
It's the brand. This brand?
Oh, okay.
Carhartt?
What's so special
It's like
about
what
it?
all men wear when they work in construction.
Just one.
Forever. Forever and ever, little honey.
I guess I have seen it before. I think when I was working for DMG. They were construction dudes. Yeah, they were construction
They're usually
dudes.
brown. I'm
I think
ready.
his was black. His was
Check my
black.
teeth. Just no,
You're
like
good.
check them for me. I can't see.
No, they're good. I don't know what you're looking for. Oh, because you had a
Seeds.
smoothie. Mm-hmm.
Seeds.
As it should. All right. You want to go first? Or do you want me to go first? Whoever goes first has to do the intro.
You lead the show. Bam.
All right, I'm leading the show.